But of course, like you said, rare earth metals, there is a dominance of certain players, certain countries that will remain. I mean, we are also living in a world where we largely dependent on oil on other countries. So this, dependency on one another will always remain. We are a part of a global company, so this will continue to be. But I think as the volumes grow, the cost will come down. We have not yet reached there.
Are there any plans to manufacture some of these vehicles in India? Battery costs are, a very high component of electric vehicles. And given the way that, how there are these rare earth components also which go into batteries where China as a whole, how do you see, value chain, supply chains, or rather global value chains around EVs evolving? Because the high prices of electric vehicles is also one constraint in their adoption, isn't it?
No, you're right. I think two-sided answer. One is the recycling of the batteries. Once we have to achieve that over a period of time where the outgoing batteries are being replenished, reused, and of course the first question is again how the supply chains are. I think as the volumes grow, the cost will come down, and we are in the process of achieving those threshold volumes. May not be in India yet for us, I would say, but over a period of time for our group, we have started manufacturing these batteries in multiple of our plants globally, and as we start manufacturing ourselves, the cost will come down. So there is no doubt about it. But of course, like you said, rare earth metals, there is a dominance of certain players, certain countries that will remain. I mean, we are also living in a world where we largely dependent on oil on other countries. So this, dependency on one another will always remain. We are a part of a global company, so this will continue to be. But I think as the volumes grow, the cost will come down. We have not yet reached there.
Is it only economies of scale that are going to drive battery costs down, or is some R&D also happening where we can hope that push?
Absolutely, both sides. I think like I said, it's been a couple of years only into this technology, so you will see more and more technology coming by, and of course the scale that grows. So both-sided approach, I would say.
Audi itself has been importing many of its models from the global EV portfolio. Are there any plans to manufacture some of these vehicles in India?
Well, you're right. We were one of the first ones to launch many cars. We in fact had 4 SUVs, and we were the first one to launch the 2 sports cars in the EV space way back about 3 years back. I cannot give you the answer right now, but we are evaluating because now in our global portfolio, we are globally launching certain new products on the new platform. So we are in discussion with our headquarters. We also need a minimum threshold volume to even assemble these cars in India. So we are working with the headquarters. I don't have an answer, positive or negative right now, but very seriously, we are working on these topics. And as soon as I have some news, I'll be able to share.
But what factors would influence this decision?
Mostly the volumes, because you have to keep in mind that, whenever, even if I sell one car, we sell one car in the country, we have to service that car for 10, 15 years. So a minimum threshold is required for us to take that decision, and which particular model is, successful so last 3 years, whatever we've been able to sell in India, that has given us experience to also decide the future. So whether you pick up SUVs or pick up sedans or you pick up sport bags, so what body type will be more successful, what minimum threshold volume, what kind of policies are existing, which will lead us to reach certain volume. So we need to plan 3 to 5 years, and so that minimum volumes is what we need for any particular car to be made in India. So I think we are in the process of defining these parameters for some of our future products. And once we are able to crack that with our headquarters, I think that's the time when we should be able to share more details on this. But yeah, I think single word answer is volumes.
Circling back to this, this battery issue, there is also, one section of experts who are saying that, maybe we should focus a little bit on flex fuels and hybrid vehicles in the short to medium term, before we focus fully on electric vehicles. What are your views on that?
Well, I will limit here my views mostly on the luxury space, or specifically where we operate. So I think our stand has been very clear, and I will tell you also why. That we are moving from from ICE to electric straight. We are not looking at any intermediary step. The reason is the luxury space in India is still very small. We'll end up selling about, let's say, 4.2 million cars this year, but we will end up selling just about 50,000 cars in the luxury space. And that 50,000, 40,000, 50,000 has remained for many years now. So the luxury space still is very small. And you have all the players, let's just say, I don't know, 80, 90, or 100 models in the luxury space are existing for this 50,000 cars. So if you just look at per model sale, it is just about 500. So the volumes still are very, very limited. So I think all of this does play a big role in our decisions on these topics. And I think as we evolve, as the industry evolves, as we grow further, we will be able to bring in more models that are made in India.
So, in your assessment, let's say by 2030, what percentage of luxury vehicle sales will be made up by electric vehicles?
Well, first and foremost, I think as per our current assessment, if the things remain same, the luxury space should be close to about 100,000 cars, let's say somewhere in 2030, 2032, around that period. I think our assessment is between 40 to 50% should be electric vehicles. So, because we are also moving in this direction globally, Audi has decided to be a fully electric car company. That's the decision from our board, from our headquarters. By 2033, probably 1 or 2 years up and down. So we are already moving in that direction, and that's one of the reason why electric cars to be made in India is only a matter of time. It is not the question of if; it's a question of when. So I think in terms of penetration, luxury space could achieve this kind of penetration in next 8 to 10 years time.
And what about the overall market? The government is aiming for 30% EV penetration by 2030. Do you think that is optimistic or realistic?
I think a little optimistic, but let me also put a caveat that if we are able to develop the charging infrastructure properly, and if we are able to give that convenience to our customers, it's very much possible. But this is something which needs to be taken on very high priority, and needs to be worked upon by all the stakeholders together, and able to offer this to our customers. And I think it's possible, but a bit challenging.